Okay, we're on the east side of Dumas Lake here. You can see the levee. I'm looking to the west. The levee runs, I guess, close to, not directly east and west, but maybe a little to the southwest, a little to the northeast. And what it appears, the levee itself did not break. It's the road that leads up to the lake on the east side. It just made another spillway. The water just tucked down the road, and we'll walk up through here. This is where the last few times we've been over here, which last time I was over here brought James Earl over here. It'll be 2 years ago. It's October, and we drove right up through here. And Les, if you remember, he called you on the cell phone when we got up here and got parked. Now, I'm not going to be able to get up and overlook the lake here, because you'll see here in a minute is how what the water did. This year was, you see that bank yonder, what is it, 25, maybe 25, 28 feet tall, and there's still some water running out of the lake here. I guess I'll go to the other side here in a minute, but I have an idea there's none going out the spillway. The spillway's on the other side of the levee. You see the levee right up here. And I guess you could, I don't know where you say the levee actually broke or where it just carved another spillway up at this end of the levee, up on the eastern. It's sort of mind-boggling to think that 2 or 3 weeks ago you could drive up here. That was the road. And you see, that's I guess that's sandstone or red clay. It looked like some kind of, it's a soft rock. You get up here, you can see some of the lake, I think. But right up in yonder, when we drove up here, we come up, what you're seeing here was a roadway, and you parked right up here amongst these trees. But you can see the water's still running out of the lake. I think I can get a shot of that. It's actually on the very eastern side of the levee. Here's the levee. And as you come around, the road came right up through here. And I guess the spillway wouldn't take the water out fast enough, and it just made itself another spillway here. But you see, that water actually come under a piping. That'd be a piping rock. Let's see if I can get that right here. Not sure I can. The sun's shining bright. But anyway, that's what used to be the roadway. And you can see the lake. See the lake out there. It's a long ways from. It did a long way from being emptied, but they said there was a lot of fish that went out. Now how they knew that, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to try to get over on the other side there and maybe get some pictures over there. If I can get down here through here in one piece. I'm going back south now toward the main road, the one that comes off up there by Leland Grissom's and comes out over near Dumas. It did look like it took out some of the roadway, but they've repaired it. Cars are going across there now. And about out of breath. It's a little easier, back easier going down. And it was coming up. But it took down, I'd say at least 25 feet. And how wide would this be? I don't know, at its widest point, probably 50 to 75 feet. I'm not too much on estimating stuff like that, but anyway, it's sort of mind-boggling if it would have had some of them courting couples that probably still went up here, and they'd have been there. They'd have been somewhere in the Tallahatchie River, maybe on into the Gulf of Mexico by now. But anyway, we'll try to get back to the vehicle here. Brought Nancy along with me. She's hanging out in the car down here. I knew she couldn't walk up here. It's all I can do where this water come over. There's lots of roots from the vegetation here and get your foot tangled up in it and wind up in that water over there. But anyway, I'll go on out to the, and there's some bullfrogs hollering over in here. I don't know how they kept getting washed away. But I believe that's that spring. I believe that spring was across the road. I'm not sure where they got access to it down there or not. But anyway, they're looking south across the road, and let's take one more peep back up through here. So we're gonna fade it out and see if we can get in on the other side. Okay, this is looking down the spillway, not the spillway, the dam. And I guess it's running pretty close to east and west. Down yonder I thought it was a little to the off of east and west. And I'm trying to say the spillway, I think this is it right down here, and there's no water running out of it. And there's not as much water going out of here as I thought there might have been the way they talked. Anyway, this is looking across the lake, looking up to the north, and back around to the east. There's where the diving board once stood. I don't know how long. I don't even know if people swim in here anymore or not. Looks like it's some kind of fishing pier across the way over there. We're going to walk on down to the other end of the levee where we were there a while ago. Looks like automobiles or some kind of four-wheelers or something. I don't know where in the world it turned around now. Down here, I guess we'll find out when we get down here. I don't fool around. Yeah, you see the water level. It dropped quite a bit. This is a levee. I guess if you had a maybe 4 feet. This levee is longer than you might think when you walk it. I guess this is the first time I've ever walked it. I don't think I've ever driven across it. Like you can see down here, next to the road, that's the water that's coming off up here, 300 or 400 feet up the way. Well, we're nearing the east end of the levee. And I guess you can see right here also where the water level was before the flood. It's not as, it hadn't been as much out of it as I once heard, but I'm sure at the top of the flooding, it was much above that. And I guess I'm seeing where they may be turned around here, but I wouldn't have, I wouldn't want to got this close to the edge. That thing might fall off. But here we are, almost back where we was there a few minutes ago, except on the other side. The only way to get on this other side was go to the other side of the levee and walk down the levee. So let's get a little peep down through here where we come up through here a while ago. I'm afraid to get too close to this edge. It may break off. I can't really get the water flow. Come on up here and maybe I hear that piping rock. If I can get it on it, the sun's shining so bright. Let me see. And anyway, right up here, through here where the road went, and I guess some of this embankment was here, but not much of it. And you can see across, that's where we used to park, right over there. Drove right up through here. I wish I could get this water coming out of this. I may be getting it and just can't see it. Well, let's get another shot of it coming right off of the lake. Okay, here's where it found its way out. It got all back in here, and this is looking to the west across the lake. To the north. Just looking back to the northwest, we're starting back down the levee. See if we can find our way out of here. Here's the back side of the levee, the public road. I forget what road number this is since they did the 911 road numbers here about 15 or 20 years ago. Like I say, I guess that's a fishing pier over yonder. This is south of the levee. You can see that water down there. It's coming off the lake where we were just at there a few minutes ago. It comes on down by the side of the road and goes into a large cupboard, and I guess on down toward Cane Creek bottom, and eventually into the well, I've always heard this is the beginning of the Tallahatchie River. Some might argue that. They might say Cane Creek. The Cane Creek is the beginning, but I've always heard, for all practical way of thinking, the Dumas Lake would be the headwaters of the starting of the Tallahatchie River. Here's a shot of the road. It goes back toward 370, the one that goes on up to the tire. And I believe this is about all we're gonna do here. See if we can make it back to the car and head back toward Ripley.